Hello there, today we're gonna unpack a Reddit post that left me like this.
Huh?
Before we get into it, let's touch on the UK and Irish slang that is heavily used.
It'll be quick, so pay attention.
Knackered, too messed up, uncomfortable to use. Kip, sleep, nip, take a quick trip, proper kicked off, overreacted, got aggressive, gint, broke, not a lot of money, massive row, big heated argument. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let us proceed.
Am I overreacting for telling my boyfriend his best friend can't sleep over in our bed while I'm away? I, 27 female, am away for my sister's hen do this weekend. My boyfriend, 28 male, just casually announced that his best mate from uni, a woman, is in town for a gig and he's offered for her to stay at ours. Grand, no bother. Then he drops that since our sofa is knackered and the airbed has a slow puncture, she'll just have to kip in our bed with him. Well, I'm not there. I told him absolutely not. I'm not comfortable with that at all. I offered to nip to Argos after work and grab a new airbed. I even said I'd chip in for a travelage. I said he could sleep on the floor if it was that much of a big deal. He reckons that's insulting to her and that I'm making it weird because they're just mates. Here's the thing though. They did have a thing back in school, which he says was for like 2 weeks. She also has a habit of FaceTiming him late at night and posts old photos of them with captions like my absolute favorite human. He swears blind it's all platonic, but sharing our actual bed just feels like a massive boundary crossed. He's proper kicked off, saying I'm being controlling and that she's skint so it's just the decent thing to do. Now he's saying if she can't stay in our bed, he'll just go and stay at her brother's house with her instead. To be honest, that sounds even dodgier. Am I the one going mental here? It's not that I don't trust him. Exactly. It just feels disrespectful to me and to our relationship. He's making out like I'm some jealous psycho, but I feel like this is a pretty normal thing to be against. Just want to know if I'm being unreasonable before this turns into a massive row.
That was a lot to unpack. I want to speak my truth about it, but I'm going to speak my truth first, and then we'll see what everyone else thinks. Most people in cisgender relationships would not be comfortable with their partner sharing a home
Alone.
with someone of the opposite gender, let alone sharing a bed. So I completely understand why this is an issue in the first place. We can argue it's about trust, but I argue it's probably more about a miscommunication of relationship expectations versus relationship boundaries. Relationship expectations are what you hope your partner would do without having discussed it with them. And relationship boundaries are when you discuss your expectations on a certain topic and then agree to follow a standard together. Now, through this Reddit post, it seems this is untouched territory. And it's time for both of them to vocalize their relationship expectations and turn this into an opportunity to build a mutual boundary for future situations. Because like I always say, an uncomfortable conversation is just an opportunity to build a better relationship. This is where real-time collaboration becomes important. And it's what OP tried to do.
Emphasis on tried.
Because she expressed how it made her feel uncomfortable and offered not one, but multiple solutions or options for them to collaborate on and compromise on. She really went above, beyond, over, through, under, like she did all of that. And this man didn't even consider them. Yeah, this man didn't even consider them. Man just wanted any reason for her to seem unreasonable because instead of working with her, he went against her and even called her behavior weird. What's weird is an almost 30-year-old man still having a girl best friend and choosing her over his partner. The weird part isn't having the girl best friend, like to each their own, but the weird part is choosing that girl best friend over someone you're trying to build a long-term commitment with. What are you gonna do when you have kids or a family or you get married? Heaven forbid a life event comes up and it interferes with your friendship.
Sorry, honey, I couldn't attend Lil Cindy's first birthday. My girl bestie asked me to pick her up from the airport. Sorry, Papa wasn't able to make it to your graduation, buddy. My girl bestie was still getting her nails done.
Make it make sense, because it doesn't. It's not adding up. It's not adding up. The equation isn't calculating. It says undefined on the calculator. Frustrations aside, no, OP is not being mental. Like, there comes a time where you need to get your priorities straight as an adult. And is that man there? Absolutely not. Especially with this behavior. Can he get there? Yeah, anyone can get there with work and effort and self-awareness. But will he even want to? Judging by his name-calling, denial, and threats to stay with his girl best friend at her brother's place, I don't think he cares to get there. Also, OP's boyfriend calling her jealous and controlling is such an antiquated and outdated tactic. In the literary sense, it is very much caveman-like behavior. Are people not allowed to have feelings or express being uncomfortable? Because OP was more than willing to reach a compromise. Also to OP's boyfriend.
Girl bestie, broke? Why no brother? Stay first.
Anyways, let's see what the rest of Reddit has to say.
The moment he starts being dismissive of your feelings, instead of reassuring you, is a massive red flag in itself. He seems dead set on sleeping with her at any cost and means necessary. That's not best friendship, even if he has not cheated on you physically. Emotionally, he already has. Get away from there, fast. He does not care in the least, so it is time to move on. Edit. How would he react if you asked him to do the same thing? Would he be so nonchalant?
A lot of emotions in this response, but the one thing I want to emphasize is the last part. How would he react if you asked him to do the same thing? Would he be so nonchalant? This is everything that an emotionally immature person is incapable of doing. They have no concept of putting themselves into others' shoes. They lack empathy for anyone else except themselves. It's like they completely skipped the lesson we've all been hearing since kindergarten. Treat others the way you want to be treated. I'm not saying you're completely doomed if you see yourself in falling in the emotionally immature realm. Like, trust me, we've all been there. Some people get past it quicker than others, and it can completely be worked on. But that's not supposed to be something that someone is supposed to be responsible for. You have to be responsible for that yourself. So yes, it can be worked on, but that's not OP's responsibility. It's on OP's boyfriend. It's on them. Next comment.
I was wondering why he would be so transparent about it too. Unless he's an narcissist and trying to triangulate, or start to fight on purpose to give him an excuse to cheat. Just having her there to visit didn't start a fight, so he had to up the ante maybe.
I feel like it's more, I don't want to just assume someone's a narcissist. So I would like to say it's more self-sabotage with a sprinkle of manipulation. Because OP's boyfriend seems to want to he seems very eager to flip the script on her and make her seem unreasonable or too much for wanting her needs to be met in the middle. She's not saying do it my way or the highway. She's offering options for them to meet halfway on. I'm assuming he didn't offer any sort of options too, because OP didn't mention it, which is very concerning because he just shut her down regardless of all the options she's made to kind of repair. She shouldn't have to carry the full responsibility of being the only one that's meeting halfway. You know, she's like, here are my options, and he's like, I don't like any of them. Let me use both of my fingers, give me a second. Here are my options. And then he's just like facing away going, no, I want to do what I want to do. And when it comes to real relationships, you don't get to do that all the time. You're no longer single. You need to also collaborate with the other person and meet halfway together. That is my take.
The other woman here. I was friends with a guy from another town who invited me over. One thing led to another, sleeping in the same bed. I get a DM online asking, are you the friend at so-and-so's house? I was weary to say yes because he did have a big following online, so I wasn't sure if this was doxing him in any way. We talk a bit back and forth. Turns out this woman was the 3-year long-distance girlfriend, and he had said he wasn't going to be able to text her for the week because he had a cousin staying over at his house. Fast forward 7 years later, her and I are still friends. I'm going to her wedding this year in October. We both blocked that man, and last I heard his life really sucks. Anyways, not overreacting. He wants to set up the perfect scenario to beat this girl and wants you to be on board so you can't claim suspicion later on. I'd message her and let her know you're not comfortable with it and that you're more than happy to help her find different accommodations. Either one. She will be grateful for the help and respect your completely sane boundaries. 2. She has no idea you're the girlfriend or your man has downplayed the relationship. Or 3. She knows about you and is a trash human, in which case, they deserve each other and beat them. Too long didn't read. If he goes and stays at her brother's, tell him not to come back.
Having experienced being the other woman, unknowingly or knowingly, they had something to say. And I completely think it's true. Girl bestie might not even know. And if she did know, the integrity of the relationship should be the sole responsibility of the people involved. I always thought it was so weird to me when people in movies or in real life blame the homewrecker. And granted, this homewrecker should get their karma if they knew all along, because that's just thing to do. In the end, it is or was the responsibility of the person, the partner who cheated, because cheating is never a mistake. It is always a series of choices. Personally, I wouldn't message the third party because why do you want to be preventing his cheating? You shouldn't want to be the girlfriend or the spouse of someone you have to always be on alert for. It's tiresome. And instead of just trusting they do the right thing, you're always preventing them from making the wrong choices. And I get it. It's natural to not want to go through that pain. It is the worst pain you could ever feel. Or believe someone you love is capable of hurting you intentionally. I understand that. It's not our responsibility to carry that weight. That is what they need to do. And you shouldn't want to be with someone that has no self-control and they can easily just do that to you. Anyways, I went on a rant there. But yes, if you're putting in all this effort just to prevent it, at that point, leave the headache behind and end the relationship. It helps wonders. Let's face it, without an update, we won't know what happened, but here's what I got out of it, and I hope you did too. First, don't enter a relationship if you're not ready to adjust interpersonal dynamics for the health of your relationship. Girl besties, boy besties, toxic friends, the dreaded work spouse. Oh, I did 3. Work spouse. It's something that needs to be addressed. Also, friendships are okay as long as respect is consistently demonstrated. Keyword consistently. And your significant other isn't put below these connections. It's necessary, especially if you're trying to build something long term. In regards to this thread, this Reddit thread, any adult is capable of context clues and can see patterns like anyone else. OP's boyfriend is not dumb. And he's an adult, so he definitely notices these patterns of late night calls and extra affectionate social media posts, but he chooses to be selectively ignorant to avoid changing that behavior or admitting fault. Or maybe he's straight up not bothered by it. However, is someone who chooses the comfort of selective ignorance someone OP should even want to stay with? Because ignorance is bliss and he is choosing it over the health of the relationship. I don't think that's someone that can maintain a stable long-term connection or even put 1/4 of the effort it demands. Again, this is judging by one post. Remember, we don't know the whole story. Thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me a lot and I appreciate it. So I'll see you next time. Bye.